What if I told you that millions of Americans might be investing in Bitcoin without even realizing it? And no, I'm not talking about buying crypto on an exchange or downloading a fancy digital wallet or remembering a long seed phrase that feels like a secret password from a spy movie. I'm talking about something way more sneaky, way more surprising, and honestly, kind of genius. Because today, we're diving into the strange, fascinating story of MicroStrategy, the company that has quietly become one of the biggest Bitcoin holders in the world. And the wild part is this. Many regular people who think they've never bought crypto may actually already have exposure to Bitcoin, simply by owning MicroStrategy stock.
Hi there. Before we dive in, please take a moment to read the full disclaimer on the screen.
Stick with me until the end, because once you understand how this works, you'll look at the stock market and Bitcoin in a completely different way. And no, this is not financial advice, but it is one of the most interesting financial stories happening right now. So let's start from the beginning. MicroStrategy. For most of its life, it was a boring business software company. The kind of company nobody talks about at parties. The kind of stock where the chart barely moves. The kind of company you forget even exists until your computer asks you to install some update you never asked for. And then something crazy happened. In 2020, during all the chaos in the world, MicroStrategy's CEO, Michael Saylor, made a giant decision. The kind of decision that either makes you a legend or gets you fired. He decided that instead of letting the company's cash sit in a bank account losing value to inflation, he would convert it into Bitcoin. Not just a little Bitcoin, not a test amount, not a dip your toes in the water purchase. He went all in. He started buying Bitcoin over and over again, hundreds of millions of dollars at a time, then billions. Today, MicroStrategy holds more Bitcoin than almost any other publicly traded company on planet Earth. And here's where the sneaky part begins. When a company buys that much Bitcoin, something interesting happens to their stock. Suddenly, the value of MicroStrategy stock starts behaving less like a software company and more like Bitcoin itself. It becomes what some people jokingly call a Bitcoin ETF in disguise. Because when people buy shares of MicroStrategy, they're not just buying a business. They're indirectly buying exposure to Bitcoin. And millions of Americans have done exactly that. Maybe they bought MicroStrategy because they saw it trending. Maybe their index fund automatically includes it. Maybe their retirement fund purchased a piece of it. There are even people who bought it simply because the stock price was skyrocketing without knowing why. But whether they realize it or not, that means they now hold a tiny slice of Bitcoin. Let me ask you a question you can answer in the comments. Do you think it's smart for a traditional business to go all in on Bitcoin? Or is it way too risky? I really want to hear what you think because opinions on this are wildly different. Now let's talk about why people are even willing to buy MicroStrategy for Bitcoin exposure instead of just buying Bitcoin directly. Reason number one, it's easy. Buying stocks is familiar. People already use apps like Robinhood, Fidelity, Schwab, and others. When they see a stock going up, they know how to buy it instantly. Reason number two, retirement accounts. A lot of people can't hold cryptocurrency directly in their 401k or IRA, but they can hold stocks. So buying MicroStrategy becomes a workaround, a legal loophole that gives them exposure to Bitcoin without needing to hold Bitcoin themselves. Reason number three, some people actually trust a publicly traded company more than a crypto exchange. They feel safer owning something regulated, audited, and run by executives who have to follow rules, even if what they're really after is Bitcoin. Now, this doesn't mean MicroStrategy is a perfect solution. Far from it. Some investors say it's too volatile, since the price of Bitcoin directly affects the stock. Some say MicroStrategy is even riskier than Bitcoin itself because it combines Bitcoin volatility with stock market volatility. And others criticize the company's debt strategy because, yes, MicroStrategy has borrowed money to buy even more Bitcoin. Let me ask you another question. Do you think borrowing money to buy Bitcoin is brilliant or reckless? Drop your answer in the comments because this one always starts a debate. But love it or hate it, here's the truth. MicroStrategy has become a symbol of belief, a symbol of conviction, and a symbol of what happens when a traditional business embraces a digital future before everyone else. Michael Saylor didn't just buy Bitcoin. He changed the entire identity of the company. He turned MicroStrategy into something like a Bitcoin vault wrapped in a software company wrapper. He turned it into a stock that behaves like crypto. He turned it into a bridge between the old financial world and the new one. Some people call him crazy. Some call him a visionary. Some think he's a genius who saw the monetary system changing before anyone else. Others think he's taking the world's biggest gamble. But no matter what you think about him, you can't deny that he's made history. And that brings us to this sneaky, fascinating reality. MicroStrategy stock has become one of the most unexpected ways that everyday Americans, millions of them, gain exposure to Bitcoin, whether they know it or not. If you're watching this right now, I'm curious. Would you prefer to own Bitcoin directly, or would you rather own a company that holds it for you? Tell me why. I'm really curious how you think regular people will approach Bitcoin in the future. Because the truth is, the financial world is changing fast. Some people think Bitcoin will eventually be in every portfolio. Others think companies will hold it the same way they hold cash, as a strategic asset. And some believe that Bitcoin will replace the whole system entirely. Where do you stand? Before we continue, if you're enjoying this video and you love learning about money, investing, and big hidden stories like this, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who would find this interesting. Your support helps the channel grow, and it lets me make more deep dive videos just like this one. Now let's go even deeper into how this all works behind the scenes. When MicroStrategy buys Bitcoin, they record it on their balance sheet. Unlike cash, Bitcoin can move up a lot, so their balance sheet becomes extremely sensitive to Bitcoin's price. If Bitcoin rises, MicroStrategy's total value rises with it. This pushes the stock price up. If Bitcoin drops, the stock often drops, sometimes even harder than Bitcoin. This creates a strange kind of feedback loop. Investors who want Bitcoin exposure start buying MicroStrategy, which pushes the price up, which brings attention, which brings more investors. Meanwhile, Saylor keeps buying Bitcoin, which reinforces the company's role as a massive holder. At some point, the company's business operations almost become less relevant than the Bitcoin strategy. And that raises another interesting question. If MicroStrategy holds more Bitcoin every year, could it eventually become more of a Bitcoin bank than a tech company? Could it one day act like a publicly traded digital treasury? Do you think that's possible? Or is that unrealistic? Share your thoughts. I genuinely want to know how you see this playing out. What's even more interesting is that MicroStrategy has started influencing other companies. A few businesses inspired by Saylor have begun holding Bitcoin in their treasuries too, though not nearly on the same scale. This begs another question. What if more companies join in? What if, 10 years from now, holding Bitcoin becomes as normal as holding cash? What would that do to the global economy? Let me ask you directly. If you ran a company, would you put part of your business treasury into Bitcoin, or would you avoid it? Leave your answer below. I want to see how future-minded my audience is. As we get close to wrapping up, here's the big idea I want to leave you with. MicroStrategy didn't just invest in Bitcoin. They created a completely new way for average people to own Bitcoin simply by owning a stock. Whether intentional or not, they built a back door into the Bitcoin world. A sneaky, unexpected bridge between Wall Street and the crypto universe. Some people think this is brilliant. Others think it's insane. But no matter what, it's one of the boldest financial experiments of our time. So the next time someone tells you they've never bought crypto, Ask them if they own any MicroStrategy stock, because they might be part of the Bitcoin world without even realizing it. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this deeper look at one of the wildest financial stories of our time, make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video. And before you go, tell me in the comments, do you think MicroStrategy's Bitcoin strategy will be remembered as genius or a gigantic mistake? I'll be reading your comments.